Coaches, listen, I want to talk to you about myths and busting some myths that are out there. Three that I hear often is that you have to spend all day to build a business to be successful, and that it's just trading dollars for hours, and it takes a whole lot of time to do so. And this is not the case. If that's your perspective, that's the reality that you're going to get. But you got to get to the place where you're not trading dollars for hours, where it's not taking you all day of all of your time to be successful. You don't have that much time. Nobody does. There's not a single person on the planet that does. And so how is it that it takes all day and you got to spend all day to be successful if literally everybody who has ever been successful online did so by not spending all day doing it? Answer that question first off, right? Well, then you might say, well, they had a lot of money or they had a big following. Those are two other myths. You don't need a lot of money or a huge following to be successful. You don't. And these three things are the three reasons a lot of people write off and say why they can't be successful in their business. I don't have a lot of time or all day to build stuff. I don't have a big following. I don't have a bunch of money. And they write off completely any possibility of themselves succeeding because they think that they need these things, when in fact those are the big three lies that are out there. And I'm going to keep pushing past these lies because as long as you believe those, you're not going to be successful. I truly believe that. If you keep telling yourself that, those are going to be your crutches and your reasons why, because you're never going to be at a place where you can ever have the things that you want to ever succeed. That's what we tell ourselves when we believe those things. But the truth is, you don't need to spend all day building your business to be successful. You don't need a bunch of money to be successful selling online. You don't need a big following. That's one of the worst ones. You don't need a huge following at all. It takes strategic actions, and the most important thing is the words that you use connecting with your target customers with a few simple, not everything, a few simple activities that connect with people and lead them to purchase from you. And those don't take all day. Now, the amount of time it can take you, it can take a couple of years to be successful because it's trial and error. So a lot of people are looking for a get-rich-quick, fast way to do things, a fast way to make money, and then what they end up doing is they end up trading dollars for hours because it's easier to go get a job and work for somebody else than it is to actually do the work to be successful in a way that leverages your time so that you're not trading dollars for hours. And so they cave and they give up and they give in because it's easier to just give up the dream, quote unquote, and go do jobs and go do services for people and say, well, it's just too hard to sell products. I don't have all the time to do it. I don't have the big following. I don't have a bunch of money to do it. And then they end up in the same cycle that they're in, trading dollars for hours because they're limited by the amount of time that they have to actually perform those tasks. I talked about this earlier last week, is that if you're a service provider, you only got two ways that you can increase your income. You either hire people to do all the work for you, or you start selling products. And selling products is the only scalable business. You can't ultimately scale a service business because your profit margins are so low. The amount of energy that it takes you to actually scale a service business with employees is way more than with products. With products, you take a little bit of time, do a little bit of strategic activity, you align your message. I showed you how to use Jarvis, how to use tools like that for your copywriting. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to do this. But we get stuck analyzing. We get stuck telling ourselves that it's going to take time. We get stuck trying to figure out what the right things to do are instead of just doing the simple action and not overthinking it. Instead of just putting ourselves out there, even if it doesn't work out, even if it doesn't produce results, because we're afraid of things failing, and then we accept crumbs instead of the vast amount of possibility that is possible for you in selling products. So I see people do this. They accept crumbs in their life because it's just too hard. It's just too difficult to figure out. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's not hard to figure out unless you've convinced yourself of that. It's not hard to do the activities unless you've convinced yourself it's going to be hard. And then you approach it with that it's all got to be perfect. And honestly, the real problem here is perfectionism. Perfectionism is the number one reason why it takes people, they think it's going to take them all day. Because if it's not perfect, if you have to make something perfect, it will take you all day. That's why I say you have to take imperfect action. If you have a need for everything to be perfect before you put it out there, yes, it will take you all day, and you have chosen that to be your life. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to choose to not do things perfect if you don't want it to take so many hours of your day to produce stuff. It's okay in the course creation business, and I say this, to cut corners. See, in a lot of businesses, imagine manufacturing, if you cut corners on building a house, the house could crumble and you could kill some people. In course creation and coaching, cutting corners on your marketing, your design, the way that you set up things, your website, all of that is actually by design the way to be successful. And yet people have convinced themselves, unless it's all perfect, I can't succeed. And so then that's the reason why it takes so long and so many hours in their day, is because they're worried of ever putting anything out there that's anything less than some standard that they've set for themselves of how it should be or supposed to be. And I believe that if you kill the word should do out of your life, you'll actually start doing the things that are going to work. The things that produce results are devoid and separate from the should do's that you tell yourself in business. And that's what I've seen, and that's what I've experienced, and that's what produces successful businesses. And so stop allowing perfectionism to be your reason why things take so long for you to be successful. If you shrink the amount of time that it takes you to get tasks done, I take literally 5 seconds to record my social media content. I don't think about it longer than that, because I don't give myself permission to. I don't give myself an opportunity to. I put a course out there called Social Media Content Creation Made Easy, where I walk you through my process of how I do that, to where it doesn't take all day to make content. It doesn't take me all day to make content at all. It takes me minutes to put it out there. And yet people still believe it's supposed to take me all day to build a business. It's going to take me all day to build a content creation business, course creation business. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of money. You don't. Absolutely. You can start with $5 to $10 a day running ads and testing things out to reach people. You don't need a $5,000 to $6,000 budget to start to see results at all. Is that helpful? Yes, but if you're spending $5,000 to $6,000, you should be making $12,000 to $25,000. You should never spend money on advertising that you're not making twice what you're spending. Ever. And so people say, oh, it takes a lot of money to succeed. If the money literally comes in instantly, you traded $6,000 for $24,000 and you made the cash flow instantly. Did it really cost you $6,000 out of pocket? No, it didn't. And that's the right way of marketing and advertising. It doesn't cost you a lot of money to be successful, and you can start small. And it doesn't need to take up a lot of time. Listen, you can talk yourself into it taking up your whole day. You can talk yourself into things taking up every moment of your waking life with perfectionism because of your need for everything to be perfect, and convince yourself that it has to take all day. But that's not the reality. That's not the reality of life. That's not the reality of business. That's not the reality of what we teach and coach people how to do. And it doesn't have to be the reality for you. If you learn just a few simple things, and it has to do with how you connect, how you communicate, the messaging, the structure of your offers, of how you reach your target customer. That's what produces results. That's what produces sales in your business. Doesn't take a lot of time. You don't need a lot of money, and you absolutely don't need a big social media following. This is the worst myth that people have, because we just scaled an author's book on a page with 0 people following him. Nobody knew who he was because the messaging was there, because the words were captivating to people. The words that were used were captivating. And that's what I teach in Irresistible Offers That Sell. That's why you use tools like Jarvis to write copy for you that's captivating. We used Jarvis to write copy to an author that has 0 following. And it's a #1 book for the last 4 weeks now on Amazon. 0 following. And we only were spending about $50 a day on ads, and he's bringing in 4 times that in the Amazon sales. Okay, $50, brought in 200. Did that actually cost him $50? You might say, well, Jeremiah, $50 a day, it's about $1,500 a month, $3,000 a month. I don't have that. Yeah, but it brought in $6,000 for him. So did that really cost him $3,000? Or did he make $6,000 and get his books out to people? That money was in his bank account instantly. It doesn't cost a lot of money to make money. This is a lie that people believe, that they're convinced, that they're told, and it's a crutch that people use to convince themselves of why they can't succeed, and they operate doing things that don't work because they're believing these myths. And so I want to bust those for you. You don't need a huge following. You don't need a lot of money, and you don't need to spend all day doing all these activities to be successful. Your messaging, your offers, the words that you use, how you connect with people, and a few strategic things that you do that take just minutes a day. That's what it takes to be successful. Unfortunately, that's not what people believe. That's not what's being perpetuated out there, and it makes me sad. And I'm here to completely bust that open. All of my courses break down step by step for you how you can be successful without trading dollars for hours, without it taking all day of your time, without it costing you a ton of money, without you needing a huge following to be successful. So you can either keep making excuses, complaining, whining, bitching, and moaning about how nothing goes your way, or learn something new. That's your choice. That's really it. All right, everybody? If you have any questions, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to talk with you. If you're a coach, if you're a course creator, we have an upcoming 3-day intensive about selling your programs. It's next week. For 3 days, we're going to spend walking you through step by step everything that you need to sell your courses and coaching programs absolutely free in my Grow Your Life group. You can check it out at my website on the homepage, jeremiahkrakowski.com. We'll talk soon.